You wouldn't believe it, but Derwent's husband was also in the rescue crew after all. He's quite the ocean expert. His last drowning victim was his own wife. Upon the crew's safe arrival at the beach, the girl rushed to her husband, as if missing a grand red carpet, sincerely apologizing for last night's chaos. The man refused to revisit the past. Just as their relationship warmed, a Coast Guard rushed in, pulling Derwent aside, likely to discuss ocean secrets. The Coast Guard delivered some important news, and the wife, feeling a bit nervous, followed only to hear some very strange intel. They uncovered Derwent's late wife's little sailboat on the ocean floor. Wait a minute, there's also a skeleton down there. Talk about a horror movie opening. But Rebecca's remains were supposed to have been buried 2 months ago. What on earth is going on now? The husband looked like he'd just spotted it on the way home. Derwent couldn't hide the truth. Panicking, he said Rebecca wasn't in the grave but a case of mistaken identity. Subtitles. His reason for concealing the truth was to make everyone believe that he had killed his ex-wife. He asked, "Do you still love me now?" The girl was momentarily stunned. Who would have guessed that this suave guy was a secret killer? Yet her love remained steadfast, and they hugged tightly as if pledging never to part. Back at home, and after some cozy moments, the husband finally revealed his reason for the incident. Turns out he thought he was the luckiest man in all of England. But on the 5th day of marriage, he discovered that Rebecca wasn't the flawless gem he imagined. She was quite the social butterfly, to say the least. On the surface, she was the perfect manor mistress, yet a debauched Henry Duncan's type, betraying Derwent. This severely bruised the husband's pride and feelings. He was a walking cocktail of emotions. Derwent thought that Rebecca's antics were putting the manor's reputation at stake, a scandal for the family. If her scandal went public, it would humiliate the family. Thus, Derwent took matters into his own hands. During their final confrontation, Rebecca purposely provoked her husband by claiming she was pregnant. Not only that, but the baby's daddy wasn't even Derwent. Oh my gosh, talk about a soap opera twist. In the heat of the moment, and frantic, Derwent ended up choking his wife, then decided to bury the truth. He stuffed Rebecca's body into the little sailboat and buried it in a secluded cove, hoping to cover his tracks. But now, Derwent thought the boat sank a bit too close to shore. If only he had picked the rocks, he could have hidden everything perfectly. Talk about self-sabotage. After hearing her husband's account, the girl sympathized and said not to dwell on it since it was over. But is that really the case? The next day, as the sunken boat was raised, the truth became even murkier. This triggered a police re-investigation. In court, Derwent answered questions with the calmness of a poker champion. Subtitles, he revealed no flaws, but with Rebecca's cousin and an expert's testimony, the case broke through. The expert noted several holes in the deck, obviously man-made. So it seems that the sinking wasn't an accident after all. Upon hearing this evidence, the wife fainted on the spot, making the whole scene comically absurd. At this point, it was clear that some were elated while others were in despair. After the trial concluded, the girl finally woke up, courtesy of her family. What a nail-biter. Unfortunately, Derwent was temporarily detained for not being able to prove his innocence. The heartbroken girl could only get the driver to take her back to the manor. What a heartbreaking moment. Just as she got home from court, the girl had a bizarre dream about her husband's ex-wife accusing her of something. Talk about bizarre. With a flash of lightning, she woke up from the nightmare, unable to believe this was real. Unfortunately, her husband was under investigation for killing his ex-wife, and she had no idea how to handle it. The next morning, it was still pouring rain, but luckily her husband was released. He held her hand tightly, telling her the jury didn't have enough evidence to hold him, yet they couldn't speak much more. Because her husband had to hurry up and bury his ex-wife, everything was moving like a McDonald's fast food service. However, when Rebecca's cousin arrived at the manor, the tension skyrocketed. The drama was about to unfold. This guy had a fling with Rebecca and was always suspicious that Derwent was the killer. Talk about a web of deceit. Just then, Derwent happened to return home. Seeing the guy, he quickly pulled his wife aside, worried he might steal her. But then, Favor pulled out a letter that Rebecca had written to him on the day she was murdered. A suspenseful much. Rebecca had invited him to the snack shop to tell him something very important, but Faithful went to a party that night instead, couldn't get in, so all clues pointed to Dervent being the killer. If Rebecca's maid found out the truth, who knows what chaos would ensue. Dervent couldn't take it anymore and threw a punch. Looks like the brother-in-law was in deep trouble. But what was Faithful trying to achieve with his provocations? Tant eamat at letter 3ca a half eamat letter 3ca ameniant a letter 2b a circumflex eamat 3 eamat until the letter 2bd planet center and our red flex a quarter a circumflex times loa 3 eamat cyrillic letter 4v3 a paragraph a circumflex cyrillic letter 47 planet sign a grove a circumflex eamat a circumflex eamat dot eamat at I circumflex eamat times lo amenian a circumflex o letter 3f8 until the letter 2bd cyrillic letter 4ab so a tilde a circumflex low micro eamat a circumflex I circumflex a cedilla a amenian a divided by planets I micro a circumflex eamat I grove a big letter 6 3f o tilde x not sign a quarter or 3/4 eamat plus or minus iq letter 2b cyrillic letter 4bb as paragraph quarter 2 or as stroke a pant. For such a scoundrel, the husband immediately ordered the maid to escort the brother-in-law out. He didn't want to see him for another second. But with someone who gained nothing back off? Obviously not. He knew he wouldn't let Dervent off easily. After Faithful was kicked out, the wife suggested to her fuming husband that he should just pay him off to eliminate the threat. But the husband thought this kind of scoundrel would keep coming back for more cash, totally not worth it. He urged his wife not to fret over Rebecca's case, saying things would return to normal. Yet, both lay awake all night. Don't forget to subscribe. More exciting content is waiting for you.